Recording in progress.
Watercooler. Ba-ba-ba-da. Watercooler. Watercooler. Ba-ba-ba-da. Hey, welcome to Watercooler. Oh, we back, and it's time
Is
for
it
some
Watercooler or is it Daddy Radio?
That's right. That's exactly where I was going. Yeah, we got a trio of papas here. No Matt or no Dawson for this episode, but it's okay because
No
you're
Dawson
here
for now. He may appear.
He may appear, but at this moment, we know why you're listening. You're here for guidance. You're here for direction. You're here for discipline, and that is why you're listening to Daddy Radio. With me today, all the way in Long Beach, California, like myself, we got Kalen Bean.
What's going on?
Hi, Kalen.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, buddy.
Yo.
Okay. And then all the way in Orange County, California, we got Gary Smith.
Hey, daddies. That was
You
a
know-
tribute it was a tribute to Matt. I took a shot. They're not all going to be home runs, all right? Calm down.
Has the being called daddy, is that just completely out the window as far as just meaning father?
No. I mean, if your
Not when-
child says it, you don't
Yeah.
look at him sideways.
Right. But do you feel weird saying it? Do you feel weird calling yourself that?
No, not to my kids.
To another adult, I do. To my kids or like around, like in my household, like to refer to myself in the third person as daddy is not, I don't feel creepy because
Okay.
that's what my son calls me.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I was at work and I referred to myself that way, like that would be a little uncomfortable.
Wait, use it in a sentence like at work, just so I could see what you're talking about, how uncomfortable that would sound.
What are we gonna do for lunch today? Daddy's hungry.
That
Sounds-
actually, out of all the sentences you could have said, was the most normal sounding
Yeah,
one.
that
I
sounded
think
fine.
it sounded
I-
pretty. That sounded pretty fun. to
I
me,
think you're
actually.
okay to use that.
Yeah,
At
I mean
work.
that I could get away with for sure. I mean, I was recently telling a coworker about a night that I got home late and my son stayed up a little bit later than usual, and I was remarking that it's sometimes when Daddy gets home after a late night at the office, Daddy's tired.
Yeah.
It was okay.
You're just saying that
It-
to your wife, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was saying that to a coworker.
That one was fine. It would be a little more weird if you were like, "Daddy is not impressed with this edit that you made on this video, so you're gonna need to go do another one."
Yeah, exactly.
That would sound a little weird.
When exactly is that memo going to be finished? Daddy's not going to wait forever.
Yeah. All right. Well, daddies, it's good to see you. Gary, you've been a little snippy with me.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But,
Well,
but right
wait, now
before,
what
right
did you
before we
say
started
there?
the podcast. Oh,
What have I been?
A tad snippy.
Snippy. Yeah, I thought you said simpy, and I didn't know what that was. But yeah, I've been,
Oh.
I've been
that
a
too.
touch. I've been a touch snippy. I would say I didn't get snippy until the second one. The first one, I just let it go, and then I made light of it. And then when you did the exact same thing, not 18 hours later, yeah, then a snippy comment had to be made.
Yeah. Look, I've been busy, man.
I understand. That's why the
Yeah.
first one.
Daddy's been busy.
Daddy's been busy.
Yeah. So what Gary's talking about is he's been sending me texts that would appropriately elicit a
A
response.
reaction of some sort.
A reaction of
Not
some
even a
sort.
response. A tapback would have sufficed.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be talking about this for a tapback.
Yeah, just a tap back, just a thumbs up,
An LOL.
an LOL, an emoji of a crying, laughing face.
We're talking, two screen touches at most. This
Easy.
is not a heavy lift.
Well, I did. So Gary sent me a picture last Wednesday of him wearing this incredible Christmas sweater. I mean, 'tis the season. Describe the sweater, Gary.
I mean, I don't need to describe it. I'll show it on the screen. Hold on just a second. And
Well, for
let's
the listeners,
back up
too,
a
we
little
should
bit for the
describe it.
listeners. You and I, if someone will allow multiple participants to share, I'll show it.
Okay.
But the for the listener, Chris and I played in a golf tournament recently, and as we've talked about on this show, the Costco guys are pretty big right now. And at this golf tournament, we discovered that of the 16 adults that were playing in the tournament, about 14 of them were intimately, aware of the Costco guys. And then I got to work one day, the day before Thanksgiving, as a matter of fact, and I was gifted this sweatshirt. it was an ironic gift. The person who gave it to me knew I wouldn't like it very much, and I was compelled to wear it through the Garrigus and Garrigus Christmas party or Thanksgiving party, and the person who gave it to me pointed it out to every single person and asked if they knew who that was and knew what it was all about. And it was thoroughly embarrassing for me, but it was funny for them, and that was a good time. So Chris and I have talked extensively about the Costco guys. So I sent him this picture.
Kalen, what are we seeing right now?
We are seeing a I don't know if it's a full-on ugly Christmas sweater. But it's getting there. It's getting there because it's only got one image in the center that's not kind of blown out like the rest of them. But it is the Costco guys. It's the dad. I don't know. Is that that's not the Rizzler? Oh, that's AJ.
No, that's AJ, the dad, and the son, Big Justice.
Big Justice, and it says, "All I want for Christmas is boom." When they're flexing, and they're flexing, they're both doing the boom. Yeah.
Right. And one of the O's is a what is that?
A bomb.
Right.
Yeah.
So, we've talked about this on the show. We've talked about it out golfing. We've talked about it extensively. So I sent Chris this photo thinking, if anyone's going to get a kick out of this, it's my good friend Chris. And what was it, Chris? 9-10 days that went by?
So this was, he said it's what? The night before Thanksgiving, Wednesday night.
Oh, it was Wednesday morning during the day because this was before the potluck. So this is around 11 a.m. on Wednesday, the 28th.
Okay.
And last night on December 4th, I needed to ask you a favor, and I just found, when I went to your text thread, I found this picture sitting there with no reaction whatsoever. So I started off the favor request by pointing out that it was insane that there had been no reaction to this picture that by all means elicited a reaction.
Did not get a reaction from me.
We've wasted how many hours on these psychos, and you're just not going to react to the fact that I'm all of a sudden wearing a fucking sweatshirt with the boom guys on it?
Yeah.
That's just nuts to me. So, it had to be pointed out. It wasn't snippy that time.
I know. It wasn't. And it did elicit a response, and I should have went back and done something. And I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I do have an excuse.
The second one was more egregious, but let's hear the excuse first.
All right. So Tuesday, the night before, before you sent said text message, I'm driving to band practice because I'm playing at Perks on Wednesday night, and they want to go over some new songs. We have some new songs that we want to try out. So I'm driving there, and I get a call from my wife, and from my wife, Jen. She calls me. She doesn't have a lot she's kind of just like rushing through what she's trying to tell me. She's a little bit panicked. And I go, "What's going on?" And she says, "Get to my mom's house now. The paramedics are over there. It's Benny." And I said, "Okay." And I just floor it all the way to Grandma's house. And
you're about to feel real bad, Gary.
I already don't like this.
You're about to feel real bad. I'm aware of what's about to happen.
I don't like this at all. I don't like this one bit.
I really set that up, and I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, Gary.
No, you're not. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry that you're doing this. I'm sorry for everything that came before it. This is fucking. If this ends with any still in the hospital, I'm gonna drive along you to beat you up. God damn it!
It doesn't. I will put that out there now. So I get this call, and it's just like, oh. What happened? Just get over there now. Get over there. Paramedics are there now. They're doing whatever. So I go there.
Now here, can I pause for 1 second? While I understand that she was probably in a state where she didn't have time to give you any more information, that to me is more scary than anything
it was
she
terrifying.
could say.
And I'll tell you why the reason she couldn't tell me, she was at work too.
Right.
She called me from her work phone, and I could hear her talking on the other line to her mom. So she's going back and forth.
Right.
But obviously she's more interested in what her mom has to say. She's just like, just get over there.
Yeah. So I'm not putting it on her. I'm just saying for you receiving that information, that has to be scarier than any information she could have given.
Right. So long story short, well, it might be a little long. So Benny is taken to the hospital because he had what looked to have been a seizure. And so he just totally zoned out, like out of nowhere, wasn't responsive. And Jen's mom works in medicine. She's worked in medicine her whole career. So
She's helped me out a bunch.
She's
during
helped.
my-
Yeah.
yeah. She pulled some strings.
So
over the hospital for me.
takes no chances. Sees something. She's seen. I mean, she's basically seen everything.
Right.
So she's like, okay, we got to get him over there. So we get him over there. We go to Long Beach Memorial, and it is packed. The ER is packed to the point where I'm there with Jen's mom. Jen's racing over there at this moment, but we're trying to get him seen. And they're like only one person at a time, only one like adult with this kid. The other person has to wait outside. And I opted to have Jen's mom go because she is the expert, and two, she's the one that was there when everything happened, so she's gonna go.
That was the correct answer. I'm sure that was a hard decision to make, but
very difficult, very difficult. So anyway, it all works out. That she actually convinces them to let me in eventually, so I go in there, and we are in this ER. By the way, he's terrified. He's already had blood drawn. He's given like medicine. He's just Benny's just having the worst day of his life. Like having all this stuff happen to him. He doesn't know what's going on. 103 fever, and is just screaming at the top of his lungs, just crying the whole time. And we don't get seen for about 6.5, 7 hours when this is going on. To the point where, and the reason being is because he eventually kind of, his mood kind of calmed down, but like the thing about kids in the ER is they'll bypass you if things are more pertinent. And that makes sense. So like, a newborn will come in and there's something wrong. Okay, you go in. They only have a certain number of beds there. So we were just watching kids running in, get ran in, and then just bypassing us because it's a lot more urgent. And by the way, the ER is just like my least. For some reason I feel like I've been in an ER like I don't know, probably 4 times in the last like year and a half. It's just been weird. So I'm like weirdly getting used to it, and it's sad. Yeah, Kaylin would know too. So, and it's just like, just a thin curtain separating you from everybody. So you're just hearing everything, you're seeing everything. Like I saw a guy. I mean, I don't mean to break hip, but I saw a guy take off his shoe, and his foot was completely black, and that just seared right into this brain
Mr.
here.
Deed style.
That is what I thought initially. I was like, I've seen this. Like you could save a girl drowning in the ice right now. But so I just like all the things you see and you hear, and just people are just screaming and crying. It's terrible. So we're in there for about close to 7 hours. Finally gets seen, and we talked to multiple doctors and talk about what happened, his fever, and so what they suggested was he had what's called I think a febrile seizure, which is something that's actually pretty common. 1 in 20 kids have it, and it's doesn't mean that they have epilepsy, doesn't mean anything like that. It just means that sometimes when somebody gets a fever at such a fast rate, then that can cause a seizure, like going from 0 to 100 just so quickly. So they assumed it was that. So 2:30 a.m. on Wednesday morning, about 9 hours before Gary's text message, we were sent home, and then so like I'm just dead tired. It's now the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. Let's just go home, and on the way home, he does it again. It happens again. And Jen just turns the car around right back there. We're starting at the top again, but she's like, man, we just saw a doctor and he sent us home, but it just happened again. And so they basically, and then right there, they just admitted him. And they had to put all these wires into his head to an EEG. So they had to glue all these wires into his head and wrap it in basically a 24-hour monitor where he was on like a 4-foot leash by his head and on this hospital bed, and we just had to be there with him for a whole day in the hospital. And then we saw the neurologist. Everything was everyone was very hopeful. Long story short, there's no signs of epilepsy. it was just, it could just been a, you know, a happenstance. Like it just happens. The neurologist said, you have nothing to worry about. This just sometimes happens, and go live your life. And so that's what we were doing. So we were sent home on Thanksgiving, but he did test positive for some crazy cold virus. So that's why I didn't go to have Thanksgiving with Kaylin. So we just stayed home, and
You were missed. You were all missed.
I know we missed you too. And we just hung out at the house, and that's why, Gary, I forgot to respond.
You know what? You know what I give that? You know what I give that story, Chris? 0 booms and a thumbs down. See how hard that was? Tap back right there for your story, baby. Boom. Big thumbs down.
Oh, no.
0 out of 10. Would not recommend. I am so sorry to hear that, bud.
No, it's all good. Look, he's none the wiser now, just being super cute, super happy. Everyone's good. But
he came over a couple days ago, and like, man, he's growing up. He was sitting there. I mean, not sitting. He was standing. He was standing, walking around, playing with Isla and Blake's doll in their stroller, and he was mesmerized by it. And just going doll, and I was like, wow, this is the fucking cutest little kid I've ever seen in my life.
He talks a lot.
He's walking a lot now. Yeah,
I've seen some videos of him moving around on the old social medias, and he does look like a very big boy. He's I haven't seen him in person in far too long, but he's growing up fast, man.
Yeah. So
he eats.
Oh, he can.
Well, I wonder where he gets that.
You can put it
Honestly, I've never been around the kid once ever where he's not like actively like saying like, give me food, give me more food.
So what's his go-to, Chris? Chipino?
Right now it's bananas, but he's working his way up. So, but I do want to take some time just to thank everybody at Miller Children's Hospital in Long Beach. Great staff, great people. They made it really easy, and a like 2-day stay at the hospital is not very fun. I know a lot of people stay there for a lot longer, but yeah, it's just
well, Chris, I would like to commend you for making the right choice of sending your mother-in-law in there in the first place. I went through something similar. We had to call an ambulance for my son when he was pretty little, and before you knew it, it was miraculous how fast there were 6 paramedics in my house, and they decided that they were going to take him to the ER at Chalk.
Right.
And they, in that moment, they were in my house for all of 75 seconds probably. And, at about 60 seconds, they said, one person can come in the ambulance and the other one can't. And it was pretty apparent that that was not going to be me. And after they loaded my wife and my son in there, one of the largest paramedic, probably because of my size, basically got in my face and grabbed me by the shoulders and was like, do not speed to the hospitel. Follow us calmly.
Oh yeah, I know. He's probably dealt with that a few times.
Very, very, very sternly.
Yeah.
And then after about 3 to 5 minutes of the drive of them just driving normally in the ambulance, they turned on the lights and freaked me the fuck out. And it took everything in me to not just go Fast and the Furious style. But
I know.
Yeah, so it's tough, man. Yeah. I'm so sorry you went through that. I wish you hadn't had that experience.
We're okay. Everything's okay. So we had something very thankful to come home to anyway. And but yeah, as I said, Miller Children's Hospital in Long Beach. Shout out to the staff there. They're very sweet. And also shout out to Bandai. I think they make toys. The toy company Bandai.
Yeah.
So the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, we were greeted with a full catered Thanksgiving meal courtesy of Bandai. Like they just went to each room and just had all these Thanksgiving dinners prepared, as many as you wanted, and and that was like their thing. So I was like, oh, that's really sweet.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So very, very sweet. What's up, Kaylin?
Nothing. You were talking about like the toys and the children's hospital. And,
yeah.
I was in a hospital recently, and they bring in the toys for them all to play with.
Yeah.
And I've shown you that ball that I like to fidget with. Well, I found another one that they gave to my daughter, and I pocketed that bitch and took it home with me. And I was looking to see if it was by my bed so I could show you.
Stealing toys from kids' hospitals.
I stole it.
Great, dude. Yeah. I was trying to say something nice. You're like, oh yeah, I've stolen from them.
Kaylin's literally talking about stealing not candy, but stealing toys from a baby. That's wow. Took a turn.
I don't think my daughter wanted it. It's fine. Yeah. Anyway. She wanted me to have it.
Maybe he's borrowed it. He can always return.
So what's your excuse for when I sent you the picture of the other very nice thing that I did for you today?
So it's funny that you say that. So
Jesus Christ.
Today
I don't know this story.
Yeah. So today I just forgot to respond. It's very
Good.
busy.
I approve of that excuse vastly. That's my favorite excuse ever, Chris.
I did the thing, and this is a common thing with texting, sadly. And I'm trying to figure, like, there has to be something. Maybe there is, and I just don't know. I'll read the text, I'll get back to it later, and then I forget because I haven't marked it as like. I wish I could star text to respond to later, the way I can do with emails.
Well, your excuse is kind of out the window because now you can mark text as unread.
Yeah, but I don't like having the little red bubble.
Well, I don't like being ignored.
That's why you do it.
I know. I really have no excuse. I'm sorry, Gary. So, but anyway, Daddy Radio. Look at us. We're already telling tales. So I missed Kayla at Thanksgiving. I didn't get to get denied stuffing.
Get the stovetop.
Did you do it, Kaylin?
It was
Tell me about it. Tell me about your night without me. The empty chair.
Like I said, yep. I was saving a seat for you right next to me, so the stovetop could remain in one place, and then we could just share it throughout the night. But yeah, I knew you weren't coming, and I was very bummed about that. My mom actually flew in from England 2.5 weeks ago, I guess 3 weeks at this point, and because she loves Thanksgiving at the house so much.
No way, that's cool.
2 days before that night she has stomach flu.
Oh,
bad.
What a bummer.
So my mom wasn't able to come to Thanksgiving either. So she was also very much missed. So yeah, it was kind of a bummer not having you guys all there. I did definitely have the stovetop, and it was as delicious as it always is.
As you wanted it to be.
As I could possibly be.
Yeah.
And yeah, I ended up getting. Luckily, pretty much everyone had left at that point, but I think I got a little too drunk in front of Amy's uncle, and he was laughing about it, so it was all right. But he was the only one left at the party at that point. I was like, "Fuck it, let's go." And yeah, we had a nice little chat about aliens. It was fun.
Oh, I love this. Yeah, I've been to those Thanksgivings with you, Kaylin. You get a little loose. It's nice though.
Yeah, I allow myself to go hard at the holidays.
I just said a little loose. You didn't have to.
No. It's not a little loose. No,
yeah,
I go
okay.
hard.
But
I save it. I save it till all the regular people are gone.
I've gone over there the day after Thanksgiving, like just because I want leftovers, So I'll go over there like at 2:30 just to grab a quick, late lunch. Kalen is just walking out of the room in his PJs, like he just woke up.
So I'm dying. I'm walking out of my PJs isn't saying much since I walk around in them all day anyway.
That's true.
But I do walk out of the room, and I am as hungover as I could possibly be. And Chris hands me a bowl of peanut butter.
Oh, yeah, some Filipino food.
Peanut butter Filipino
Correct.
stew. And I was like, I can't even think about I can't even drink water right now. And it was like, I'm going to eat this later. Chris.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about it.
It was a very nice gesture. I do appreciate the gesture.
Oh, sorry, anytime. All right. So, Gary, what I want to hear about your Thanksgiving, and then maybe Dallas will come in. I'm sure we'll hear about Matt's Thanksgiving in like 5 weeks. So,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So, the aforementioned Garrigus and Garrigus potluck, as it's referred to, but it's absolutely not a potluck. I discovered because no one brings anything. It's all just the restaurant down at the bottom of the office does a whole Thanksgiving dinner. This year was my second year going to that, and I was bright enough to temper myself because the year before, my first year, I was terrified that I was going to be seen as ungrateful or, I don't know, something, the weirdo who wasn't whatever. So I ate a full Thanksgiving dinner on Wednesday. And then when I got to Thanksgiving dinner on Thursday, I didn't want any of that food because I loaded up on that the day before. So went to that.
That's a full 24 hours.
Yeah, but like
at Thanksgiving will last you over 24 hours.
I don't need turkey once in a year. Definitely don't eat it twice in a week. I'm all set. Like, thank you very much. So I took it a little easier. They had ham as well, like a honey ham as well as the turkey. So I had a little bit of that because I knew that I wasn't going to have that at regular Thanksgiving. And then Thanksgiving proper was the first major holiday, as far as the November, December holidays that we've done in producer Laura Lee's new home. So that was
nice.
that was cool. It was kind of the same as usual, but it was weird doing it in a new setting for the first time in 26 something years.
Sure.
How was the stuffing?
It was fantastic. She's kept up with, I think, I don't know if you ever got it in this form, Kaylin, but she started, I think, a year or maybe 2 years ago, making it in that like circular, like I don't know what exactly you would call it, but like you know how sometimes
A
you make
plate.
like the circular like cake tray.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
like how sometimes we would get those
Yeah.
rum cakes from my mom and they would be in like the circular whatever. She started making the stuffing in that. So when she puts it on the platter that it's being served on, it's a full circle and you can basically take a slice of stuffing, which is
Oh,
pretty awesome.
that's nice.
So I took about a 4-inch wide slice of stuffing, and that was my main sustenance for the meal. And there was not a bite left when I finished.
that should be the new saying. That's the best thing since sliced stuffing,
Yeah,
right? Because that sounds way better.
yeah, it does. It was
does,
awesome,
actually.
and I think most of the people that were making their plates didn't understand what it was. I recognized it instantly. This is my favorite part of Thanksgiving, so I got the first slice, so I got to break into that baby, and yeah, it was good stuff. But yeah, it was fun.
Stuffing.
Good stuffing. Good
There you
call,
go.
Caleb.
There you go.
Thank you.
Matt's not
Who
here.
needs-
I'm
Who needs Matt?
Yeah. We don't. Not here. No, we do. We miss Matt. So all right. Well, look, I'm glad you had a nice time too, and I wish I would have had a slice of that stuffing now. My mouth's watering thinking about it. So I'm fresh. Speaking of parties, I am freshly back from the Corolla Christmas party, and
You DOS teased you were going there during our meetup.
oh, that's right. We were doing the
Curious to see how it turned out.
It was awesome. You know, it was. So I had my 20-year high school reunion last Friday. By saying I had, I mean my class had it. I didn't go. And the reason being was I did go to the 10-year. I had a blast. But I don't know. I still talk to so many people from high school. And with social
Of everyone
media,
I know, you're the last one who needs a high school reunion. Your high school reunion is Saturday.
yeah,
Every Saturday.
I know. So I talked to everybody from high school still. So, or at least all the friends I had there. So to go to high school reunion now to just go see people that I didn't really know.
Seems weird.
It's just not as attractive as of a night as you would think. But regardless, it was had, and I heard it was great, and I heard it was everyone had a really fun time. And there is a part of me that kind of wishes he went. It's funny too because I ran into a guy from my high school that I haven't seen since graduation. Like the next day, like, oh, did you go to the reunion? And he's like, yeah. How was it? Oh, it was great. Oh, so what have you been up to? I'm like, oh, here we go. This is what I want. This is what I didn't want. So what have you been up to? Talk just because it's just I don't know. It just seems so shallow of a conversation. But anyway, so I didn't go. I go to this Corolla Christmas party, and now I kind of understand because it felt like what a high school reunion feels like. Just seeing, and I've only been gone there for what 6 months, but just seeing all the old guys, all the old guests that would come on, and they're just so nice, and everybody was so sweet and welcoming, and giving hugs everywhere, catching up. It was a beautiful thing. So I'm really happy I went, and and just seeing everybody, it was awesome. And like it was weird, just getting off the exit that we would get off every day, like drive that felt weird. It's like, oh yeah, like it just because it's like it's still familiar enough, but you haven't done it in a while.
Also feels very alien.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's that juxtaposition. Yeah. So doing that was weird. But yeah, a great. I'll name drop. So let's see who is there. Besides the usual suspects. So I walk in and while I'm walking up there because I parked at the corner, Orny Adams meets me. We walk down together. Andy Dick was there. Roseanne Barr was there. Saw Kato Kalin, my boy Dan Dunn, Jonathan Kite, everybody, like all the people that we loved going on that show. So I walked into the studio, looked the same. Went to the engineering room where we would go, looked the same. I think I've even found like one of Kaylin's old chicken bones like in the back. behind the computer.
I'm sure you found a paper towel.
But yeah, just seeing everybody. Show's been going great. Everybody's happy over there. So it was just like nice. Like, oh, the wheels are still spinning and they're keeping on, and it's good. So it was just nice seeing everybody. So, but at the same time, weird. They had Mangria. Haven't had Mangria in a minute. There was some Mangria there. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Which flavor?
all of them, I think. Yeah.
They had all
vintage.
of them. Wow.
Yeah. But I mean, I had a blast just catching up with everybody. So happy to do it. And, they said they're happy to have me back on the show whenever I want, if I ever want to drop in. So that could be a thing I do one day. But right now, I'll just keep it here with you guys.
Yeah.
Nice and easy. I don't have to do any research for news or anything. So,
It's funny. There's Mangria on display at my office too.
yeah, actually, speaking of your office, Gary,
Yeah.
can you put up that picture of you wearing that sweater again? Because there's something in that just, I don't know if it's intentional or not, because it kind of looks intentional, but I don't. There's a crooked poster behind you that is just kind of on its side.
Which one?
Why? Is that intentional?
Sort of. It's sort of intentional. It's sort of a joke. That was not always my office. And when it became my office, somebody took a poster that was hung correctly in the middle. And I hung that one where the existing.
Oh, so that's balance.
Yeah, there were existing like pinholes that were there. So I hung it like that because I did not have the tools to hang it correctly. And somebody complimented it. And I've just left it ever since.
Okay. I'm surprised it doesn't bother you. It just doesn't drive you nuts looking at it.
It's
Well, he doesn't have to look at it because it's behind him.
correct.
Yeah.
I don't have to look at it.
Well, you have to walk to your chair, don't you?
Well, actually, I broke that chair yesterday while I was sitting in it, so
This place
that
is
was
just a
embarrassing.
mess.
But yeah, no, it's up there as somewhat of an FU to the person who took the one that had been sitting there, had been hung there correctly originally. I stated that I enjoyed it, and they ripped it off the wall and took it with them, I think out of spite. So that was how I responded.
Okay. Yeah, it just like bothered me so much. I didn't even want to respond to the photo. Anyway, so look, we got comments, we got stuff to get into. So do you guys want to do some comments?
Hell yeah, let's go.
Do it.
Let's go. Oh yeah, I gotta press a button.
Now it's time for listener comments.
All right. And so we have comments on Patreon and Facebook. I'll start with the Patreon one. And if you want to join our Patreon, please do so. For as little as $5 a month, you get an extra episode every week. You get, and then there are also opportunities for like virtual meetup hangs and
You can watch terrible movies with us.
movie clubs, and you could even
Not the
do
next one.
live comments. While we do
Speaking of which,
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll get there. We'll get there. So yeah, we just did a movie club. Matt Fondelier picked. I guess we could call it a movie. It's called My All American. Yeah, we've all heard of it, and no, it's about the Austin Football Club.
I will say that, yeah, Matt has talked to me privately, and his decision makes more sense. And I think one day he'll be able to reveal a little bit more of why that was the selection.
He's gonna need to do that sooner than later. But anyway, you can listen to it. If you can't hear the sound of our voice, as far as Daddy Radio goes, universally banned. But
The acting was pretty good.
But Matt has his reasons, I guess, for why he picked it, and Dawson seemed to like it too. So, but listen to us talk about it. We had a good time, and we had a great time at the meetup too. So, just catching up with everybody. So, as I said, patreon.com/watercooler for all that fun. And actually, speaking of movie club, Kaylin, it is your month to choose a movie. You promised. I mean, emotions were high, so
Yeah.
who knows? Who knows if you'll stick to it? But in the moment, you promised that you would pick a much better and fun movie than what we
Pretty
just
low
saw.
bar to clear.
It is a very low bar. So, Kaylin, please.
Yeah, my last two movie picks, I think the last one was Dumb and Dumber, and the one
Wonderful.
before that was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Wonderful. Well, you are, dude. You're
Yeah, I was going with a classic, and then I wanted to go
strong.
with a comedy. I don't remember if
both
I had
classics.
another one in between, but maybe the one before that was a great, underrated, not widely seen action movie called Dread, which is a fantastic action movie.
That's where they take the slow mo.
That's where they take the slow-mo. And we did just watch London Has Fallen, which is also a great action
You're
movie.
welcome.
Yes.
That was a great pick.
There was one movie I really wanted to pick. It's not on Netflix though. And it's one of my favorite comedies, and it is holiday themed, and I wish I could have picked Bad Santa, but it is not on Netflix. If you've not seen Bad Santa, you should go watch that movie right away. One of my top 5 comedies of all time.
Never seen it. Go ahead.
But yeah, I wanted to go
Wait,
back to
really?
Really?
At this point, I'm not surprised.
I was in an acting class in college, and we had to do a scene like with basically just a dialogue between two characters, and my partner picked the scene. It was a scene from Bad Santa. That's all I knew, and I learned the lines and I did it, but I've never seen it.
Did he? Was that a joke on his part?
Do you remember
No, he
what
really
played?
loved it.
Were you playing the Billy Bob role?
No,
I think he was playing the other one.
Okay. I understand.
Yeah,
why you haven't
I
seen
think
it.
I was like a little kid or something.
Yeah, one way or another.
I wasn't the dwarf elf, you guys.
Oh,
I know what you're thinking. I wasn't.
Yeah, Chris, you got to go watch that. Watch that movie. It's so
Yeah.
fucking funny. And that kid in it that you played in that scene is so fucking funny in that movie. And they tried to.
I was
well,
really
they
funny
didn't
in
try
the
to.
scene.
They made a
Skip the
second one,
sequel.
and it's horrible. Yeah.
Yeah, skip the sequel. But this holiday season, do yourself a flavor and watch Bad Santa.
All right.
Definitely do that.
Bring the
And
family
yes,
together.
I know we just watched an action movie with London Has Fallen, but I wanted to watch another one. I found one on Netflix. I had only seen it one time. It's a very fun action movie. I've only seen it one time and don't remember it very well. It's only from, I think, about 5 years ago or so. I haven't
Oh.
really done my research yet, but the next movie club is going to be Upgrade on Netflix.
Upgrade.
Nice.
And I'm
feel like I've seen
unfamiliar about the
Upgrade.
limb trauma in it, so
That
There
was the
might,
first
there
thing I
might
thought of.
be
I think there's
some
some
of
arm
that.
trauma.
There might be some arm trauma in
There's
it.
definitely some trauma. That's a great movie, Kaylin. I'm looking forward to rewatching it.
Yeah, I when I saw it on there, I was like, oh, I gotta rewatch this. I don't really remember it that well, and it was so much fun.
All right. Upgrade. Thanks,
Mhm.
Kalen.
Talk about an
You're
upgrade
welcome.
from Matt's movie.
But anyway, yeah. So we had fun. Now let's read a comment from one of the listeners who subscribed to our Patreon. This is from our episode last week, Synchronicity. Let's see here. Let me just load these because I forgot they're loaded in reverse order. Let's go with Peter Morrow. He says, Synchronicity, my favorite album by The Police. And I will say that's all I could think of when Matt kept saying Synchronicity was, The Police album. R Card has a funny story. He says, in the year 2000, my mom took me to Blockbuster to find a video game to rent. On the way home, I told my mom, we should watch Twister. Shortly after we got home, and roughly 15 minutes after we had left Blockbuster, a tornado destroyed that Blockbuster. So
Wow.
There you go. Just very weird. That's actually Synchronicity and involves Twister. Like, I mean, that's just too much. That's just too much. R.I.P. that Blockbuster. Let's see here. David Mammoth 69 Smith says, "Sup fuckers."
What's up?
And yeah, and then Stacy Smith says, she's just happy Dawson wasn't there.
Well, she's gonna be even happier today.
We don't know that. Dawson has a chance to do something very, very funny if just by appearing. So fingers crossed. Let's go to our comments on Facebook too. If you're listening to this and you are not a part of our Facebook group, you gotta join. All you have to do is go to facebook.com/groups/BoboBoyArmy Worldwide LLC. You answer a few questions, we might let you in. It's my favorite place on the net. And this comment comes from listener Andrew Coleman. So it's in reference to a few weeks ago when I was talking about how I had to cancel my cable internet and how difficult it was. And Gary suggested that I just tell them that I've been sentenced to prison. Yeah, and I have to cancel it because there's no way I could be able to use it at home. Well, Andrew, and then I asked, how much time do you get between being sentenced and then actually having to go serve your time in prison? And Andrew Coleman had an answer. So here's his comment. White collar criminal here. To confirm, some defendants do get time between pleading, sentencing, and reporting. Obviously, you can't be a threat to your community, so no violence or sex crimes, gang affiliations, etc. So I pleaded in June, was sentenced in August, and reported to a federal prison camp in October. All right, so there's like a 2-month buffer.
Mm-hmm. There's a great Edward Norton movie. Oh, I can't remember the name, but there's a great Edward Norton movie
25
about
hours.
The Hulk.
25 hours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think that's David Benioff.
I think
who wrote the book. He wrote the book, and then they made the movie based off. But yeah, it's a very good movie.
It's a great movie.
You can tell me what it's about, or are you just gonna say there's a great Edward?
It's
Norton
about a
movie?
guy who has 25 hours before he goes to prison.
Okay, I didn't know that. I'm reading a comment. Can't like, oh, it's a really great Edward Norton movie. I forgot. Oh, it's called 25 Hours. Anyway, go ahead, Chris. I'm like, you gotta give me more context here. So Andrew says, fun fact, I am a convicted felon who spent a year in a camp, but has never once been put in handcuffs. My attorney negotiated the terms of my release when the indictment came down. So since I was a nobody there was no perp walk, no handcuffs. I just surrendered my passport and promised to show up my court date. So yeah, sounds pretty white collary to me. Well, Edward Hubbard commented on that post saying, I need more details of this crime. And I think we're all thinking the same thing, dude.
Yes,
Andrew,
we are.
Yeah,
Andrew, you can't just go white collar criminal, but everything was all cool. I had to go to prison. Like, if you're willing to tell us that, we're gonna
tell us what you did, boy.
We're gonna need a little more. So Edward, speaking for basically the entire Facebook group, goes, I need more details, please. And Andrew responded. He says, it was impossibly stupid. And that was part of my attorney's rationale to the judge for sentencing. He treated the money as legitimate revenue. Oh, so he says, what kind of moron pays taxes on his ill-gotten gains and issues a 1099 to his co-conspirator? He treated the money as a legitimate revenue. He may also be a criminal, but at the core, he's just a moron. He gave his share of the money back. So agreed, I got 15 months, served a year. There was some light media coverage, mostly around Green Bay, where the injured party was headquartered. Quote, I asked God to make me famous in my industry. I should have been more specific.
What?
I think it's kind of implied.
Taxes? Sounds like taxes. But I have no idea.
Hold on. Explain the implication then, Chris, because this is what I'm saying. I'm with Kaylin here. I have no idea. That so does not give me more information. There is information, but it doesn't answer old Eddie Hubbs' question.
No, he gave a share of the money back. He obviously robbed a bank.
That would be violent.
That would be cooler than tax evasion. That's for sure.
Yeah, I really don't know. But I mean, it seems like we can just Google it. If you said there's some like media coverage, I mean, we can do some.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I might have been the only one a little bit confused there, because he said mostly around Green Bay, where the aggrieved party was (parenthesis KC), which to me is Kansas City. So like I was so confused.
It could be KC Peters.
Yeah, could be. I'd be interested though. Like I want to hear
when
more.
He said I prayed to get more famous in my industry, for some reason I thought of the Green Bay Packers. Like somehow he wanted to be.
There
more
are other things in Green Bay other than the Packers. Caleb.
Is there? Is there? I don't think so.
As someone who's been there, not a lot.
I don't think so.
Well, Andrew. So yeah, maybe a few more deets and a good prison story, please.
Yeah,
we're all we're all on the edge of our seat here. But thanks for writing in. And if you didn't want that read out loud, I apologize. But
Yeah, why don't we put that out there? If you comment in the Facebook group or on Patreon, I think it's understood that it may be read.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Thank you, Gary.
Thanks for contributing to our Facebook page. We appreciate all of it.
Yeah. Let's do another one. Erica Delgado. She says, "I've never understood why Matt isn't able to fit in a friend's hang when he goes back home. It's something he could easily fit in after his parents and his friends' kids have gone to bed. Is it a logistics thing related to traffic distance or specific to the LA area? This makes zero sense to me. But I also do come from a city where it takes 20 minutes to get across town. Happy Tea Day."
I think it's because he doesn't want to. But I will say that if Matt wanted to drive to my house at 10 o'clock at night, he would not arrive before 11 o'clock. So
I was going to say, to be fair,
yeah,
the distance from Matt's parents' house to any one of us is so far. And that's at night with no traffic.
yeah. I do podcasting once every 6 or 8 weeks, basically more or less at Matt's parents' house, in the same city. And I have to leave 2.5 hours before I'm set to arrive in the morning on a weekday.
Right.
So it is a distance issue. I'm sure he would love to see us and we would love to see him. But, if you only get 4 days with your family every, 6 to 8 months, carving out 3 hours of travel time plus whatever time he's going to spend with us,
it would be an
that's a
entire day.
big ask.
It would be an entire day.
Yeah. And I mean, even to meet halfway, that's, you're talking an hour of travel time each way to get from his parents' house to the halfway point. It's too much. It's, for anyone who thought I was really being serious with Matt about the whole birthday thing, I'm not. Matt and I talked extensively after that. And, we would love to see each other. And when it makes sense, we will. But that's not on a family trip over Christmas.
Right. So, yeah. So, Erica, does not take 20 minutes to get anywhere across. So, let alone across town.
Takes more than 20 minutes just to get to Chris's house from here.
Well, that's true. We're in the same city. And lastly, Ryan Roberts says, "I'm listening to old episodes of Allison Rosen, and I'm wondering when the last time Chris," oh, sorry, he used the drop here, when the last time
Chris
ate a butter sandwich. Gary, you rolled your eyes.
I still can't believe Matt had that mic open. To this day, I have PTSD.
Look,
Chris.
Yeah, it's nice. It's clean recording.
Was there a reaction from the hosts when that happened? Because it was loud and it must have interrupted what they were talking about, but I don't remember any discussion around if they addressed the screen and if it interrupted their conversation.
That's why I was so confused when this drop started getting used a few days later, because they did not react. Adam was in the middle of berating me and he just soldiered right along as though he had not heard me do that. The reason I was saying that to Chris was because I was being yelled at for being an idiot, which maybe I was being one at the time, who knows? But Adam was undeterred and just kept on keeping on with berating me. So no, there was no reaction from anyone. Chris.
Let's see here. So anyway, to answer Ryan's question, it's been a long time. Jen and I were just talking about how she just thought like me living alone, because like when it was probably the last time was when I lived alone in my apartment. I just didn't have any food in there and I just had to figure something to eat. And I just made a butter sandwich. Now I think about it though, the ratio is totally off. That's way too many carbs. Just make some toast with some butter. You don't need to sandwich it. For sustenance, and the flavor is actually a lot better with just one piece of bread.
Or you could have a toasted butter sandwich.
That's right. What's the butter?
Galen.
Yeah. There you go. You're welcome.
So it's been a while, but Jen was laughing because when she came over and she would come over, the way I didn't have a hamper. So what I would do is I would just use the hall closet, which had a built-in shelf, and I would just reserve that whole bottom shelf for dirty clothes. So just
classic.
Just toss it in there.
I think Kaylin did a similar thing when he and I lived together.
I had a very small hamper and I did not do laundry very often. So there was a lot of spillage over onto the floor and our conjoined hallway.
Yeah.
So our shared hallway. So yeah,
To
it
be
was
fair to you,
actually-
doing laundry in that building was a pain in the ass.
it was.
You had to lug stuff up and down stairs. You had to have quarters. It was a nightmare.
Yeah, interact with a neighbor across the hall, and get invited to musicals.
So, Chris, to go back to this comment, let me ask you this, though. If you were to make a piece of toast and butter it and fold it in half, are you then eating a butter sandwich?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Okay.
yeah. But then if you do that with pizza, are you eating a pizza sandwich? See, I don't know. There might needs to be a clean break. I don't know. I gotta think about that more. But
It's pizza sandwich.
so
Makes sense
pizza
to me.
sandwich sounds
Yeah.
pretty good.
That sounds pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. Why
Why
are we not doing
why
that?
isn't that not a thing?
Oh, pizza between like two piece of garlic bread.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Oh, that sounds really good. That might be what I have to get for dinner.
So we better get out of here. All right. Well, anyway, those are our comments, everybody. Thanks for writing in and making us hungry. We appreciate it. And why don't we go around the horn and get our plugs in, and then we'll record some Patreon. So I'll start over there with Gary. Gary, what can we plug for you?
I'd like to plug Tapback reactions. It's a great way to, let people know that they're not in the hospital and everything is okay in their lives. No, really, I'd like to plug our Patreon. For anyone who's not watching on video, Chris just tap-backed in the Zoom chat and flooded me with thumbs downs, and that's very funny. Patreon.com/watercooler. It is the best way to support us aside from just listening to this very podcast. And as Matt is fond of saying, it is really the second half of the show. We record these in blocks these days. So if you want to hear another hour of me feeling really badly for guilting Chris.
I'm sorry. I had to do it, Gary. You've been snippy with me. I was like, all right, let's go.
I was
Let's
being
go.
snippy. I take my medicine and I deserve my medicine.
No,
But
that's
if you
mean
want to
to me.
hear another hour of me feeling guilty and
No,
trying
I
to be
don't.
funny while I feel guilty, then
I
you
don't
have
want
to
to feel guilty.
subscribe
I don't want you
to
to feel guilty.
patreon.com/watercooler. Or you're
We're
missing
not
half the
feeling
show.
guilty. I totally baited you into that. Now I feel guilty.
You
So
are a masturbator, Chris.
I'm very I'm masterful at it. All right, Kaylin, what about you?
Check out our Patreon, especially our movie club. Watch Upgrade. Check out our Facebook group. It's the best place on the internet. And check out me and my dad's podcast, Just Fooling About. We're on a little season hiatus. We'll be back January. If you haven't checked it out yet and you don't want to watch the full hour and a half, 2-hour interviews, I do little snippets. So I take like 5 to 15 minutes of some of the best moments and some of the best episodes, and I post those on there too. So check that out.
So Upgrade, I just Googled it. Rated R
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's going to be some
Oh,
trauma,
yeah.
Chris.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
not going to...
for
gonna love
for
this.
strong violence,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
grisly images.
Oh, yeah.
Not like, and that's grizzly with an S, not like grizzly bear. So no, it's
Not like
just-
Grizzly Adams either.
or Grizzly Adams with a beard. Language, that's fine. Sex and nudity, there is none. Violence and gore is severe.
Yes.
You know what? I'll tell you what, Chris. I'll tell you what. Because I know about how traumatized you get from such traumas, I will watch the movie. And if there is any really, really bad moments that I know you're going to hate, I will write down the time code for you and I'll say,
Whoa. No one did that for me with My All American or fucking...
That would have been the whole movie, though.
Exactly. If we're allowed to fucking tap out of things that we don't like, then the movie club is
Gary
going to
is-
shit. Chris, you gotta suffer through this. I'm sorry.
fairly positive someone gets their arm broken very severely in the movie, and I know
am
Chris gets that.
100% certain of it. I remember it. Chris is not gonna love this. This is Chris's hush.
This is gonna be terrible for me.
But he does it for the people.
No, it's a good movie. It's a good movie. You'll
It's a
like it.
great movie.
Is
You'll
it,
like it. It's
what's the RT score?
It's got to be in the 70s or 80s, if not higher. It's a great movie. It really is.
Okay, if it's a good story, oh yeah,
It is.
high 70s. So
Yeah. It's a cool movie, man. You'll like it. I mean, you won't love certain scenes, but you'll love the overall movie.
okay, I'll be fine. I'm a big boy. I've seen the whole Game of Thrones series. Seen it all.
Yeah, there you go.
Nothing gets chopped off in this.
Does
that's
it?
helpful. Oh great,
Okay.
see, you're not even sure about that.
It's been a minute. I got to rewatch it.
All right. Well, and as for my plug, subscribe to Patreon and get your Christmas shopping done early, people. It's just don't wait till the last minute. It just gets too stressful.
I gotta do that.
See, Kaylin's already feeling it. Just your gentle reminder.
Me too.
All right. That'll do it for Watercooler. We appreciate you so much. We'll be back for Patreon. We love you. Goodbye.